Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
everybody.
So we're having part 2 of Mark shouting at everybody series of stream talks. Aren't you excited that you decided to watch this, aren't you? I bet you will be by the end of half an hour of me going ballistic and shouting about things.
Yes, and I'll be trying to calm him down, of course, as usual.
She agrees with me, though. She agrees with me. She just doesn't want to.
Yes, mostly.
Okay, right, folks. So news again. Really nothing to report, except coming up very, very soon at the end of April. And that's the link for it to register for our next Open Circle workshop. Last one went brilliantly. We are going to stream the video of it probably about a week before, probably like not this weekend, maybe this weekend or very early during the week, so that you can see what you'd be coming to. Didn't have enough people there, but I think it was because of the clocks change. We did have a lot of people register, and we did have people turning up late. We did let them in, but they couldn't take part. But you'll see yourself if you watch the video when we put it live. Just watch for it on Facebook and watch for it on YouTube. Facebook and YouTube, we've been saying this for some time. Facebook is deleting all our streamed events 30 days after we show them. YouTube continues to show them. So basically, if you want to dig back into our history, that's where to go find us.
There you go.
Scottish Medium on YouTube.
Please subscribe. That way you will get all of them as they come in.
Yeah, you'll see them live as they come in. You'll also get a lot more material. There's probably about, I've lost track to be honest, but there's somewhere between about 70 and 100 videos.
That many? Wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were doing 2 chats a week. We've been doing this
for right. We were doing 2 a week. That's why there's so many. Right?
We've been doing this for about 6 months. I've been posting videos for 7 or 8 years in total. A lot of old stuff is on there that I've even forgotten about. You've even got church services up there that were recorded just after COVID, when I was getting back up to stream. A lot of stuff from America that I've done. A lot of interviews. Anyway, it's all there.
Go watch it.
Yeah, you'll probably pick up when we're doing things on Facebook. But like I said, if you want to look at the history, Scottish Medium on YouTube. Okay, so that's pretty much about it. News. Whitney's not with us tonight. She's studying and got some exams.
She will actually be out on, she has classes Wednesday nights until the end of the month. So she will be out for the rest of the month, but then she will return.
Yeah, so we're enjoying the peace and quiet and being able to do what we want, and just not sitting in the background. And yeah, anyway, right. So what are we talking about? If you follow us and if you've been involved with me or Devi in any way, you'll know that we get, or at least I get, ballistically angry when people call out as opposed to going direct. That's not what we're going to talk about tonight, although it is related to it. Lots of reasons why people call out. Okay, let's start.
Many people just don't know any better, because that's what most of the mediums in the States do.
Yeah. I suppose we better cover the basics. What is the difference between calling out and going direct? So this is for people working in church platform, on stage, or on Facebook, where they're giving readings to groups of people. Calling out is, I'll sit here and say, I've got an old man, he died of a heart attack, he had a beard, he had a bald patch on his head, he wore square-shaped glasses, and I'm getting the letter J. That might be his name, it might be his address. Can anybody take any of that? Now, if I do that, yeah, just as Devi just did, I guarantee that in an audience of, let's say, 30, 40, 50, at least 5 hands will go up. We all know somebody that could fit that description.
Yep.
Well, not all of us, but a significant number. So then I'll give more evidence. Okay, I'm seeing shoes and the color blue. So it might be a blue car, might be blue shoes, but the man certainly is showing me the color blue. 3 hands will go down and another 3 hands will go up.
Right.
And it just keeps going on like that.
And this is why I thought all mediums were frauds.
Yep. Now, it is possible to be a fraud and do that, and it is possible to be connecting to spirit and be doing that. But to be absolutely blunt, I don't think it makes any difference. I was once in a church this is leading into the subject that we're talking about. Belfast Spiritualist Church, brilliant church, big church. I'm going to be in Belfast in about 4 weeks' time. I did offer to work there. They did turn me down because they've got another medium. That's all fine. I'm on holiday anyway. Cut a long story short, they had a night where they had their students up after the service and they were all calling out. And I was sitting there trying to keep a straight face. Anyway, we got to the end, and I'd been going to the services for about 4 or 5 months because I was working in Northern Ireland at the time. And of course, they were all talking to me and what did I think about this? And the lady that trained them came up to me and she was quite happy and quite, what did you think of the messages? The students, they were really good. And I kind of cut her legs off. I said, no, they weren't. What? I said they were getting messages and guessing.
Blunt, said, as usual.
Yeah, you know me. I'm as polite and direct.
Not polite at all.
No, I don't pretend to be polite.
He doesn't
see bad mediumship. I call it out for what it is. Anyway, it probably explains why they don't want me to work there, but never mind. So that's calling out. What is going direct? Well, it's the reverse. It's where, imagine that Devi's sitting there in a row of 20 people. Can I come to the woman with the multicolored glasses and the bald head and the very small height?
Yes. Well, you don't know how short I am.
Come on. I've worked with you.
Well, on video, you can't tell. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway. So I've gone direct to, I don't know her name. Well, I do know her name, but if I'm on a stage and I'm going to somebody randomly or being drawn to somebody, I give a description of the person, right? And then I bring the sport forward. So and I would give exactly the same description that I would give as I was calling out, but here it's a binary yes, no, do you recognize the spirit? 95% of the time, the person you go to will say yes, because you've been drawn to that person. The 5% of the time, then you widen it out. You say people around, you go to the people either side, behind and in front. Can the people sitting around you recognize that? And 95% of the rest of the 5% time, one of those people will be able to take it, and the medium's just gone to the right spot but got the wrong person. Sometimes the people are connected. It's like it's happened to me a couple of times. I've gone to the husband and I should have gone to the wife. And the spirit could actually have taken either one of them for the message, but the connection was with the wrong one that I went to. That's quite common. And then as an absolute last bit, if nobody around that person can take it, then and only then do you call out. And again, you'll usually find when you do that, somebody really close to the people you were going to, maybe just a couple away, and you've been in the right direction, but you've missed them. So I can't stand mediums that call out. I won't tolerate it.
What about those who don't know any better? Because that's not fair to get angry at the people who don't know any better.
They should know better, though.
How are they going to know better if they've been taught?
Let me ask you a question. Okay, let me ask you a question, Devi. You drive, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. So if you got, now I know that you can drink and drive in America, but in Scotland
you can't. No,
right.
You can't.
Okay. Right. Fine. Okay. Fine. You've time. So if you get a bottle of whiskey out, nice Scottish whiskey, and you have a good couple of drams, and then you get in the car and you go driving, and the inevitable happens. You misjudge, whatever, you kill somebody.
Yes.
Accident, you're driving, it doesn't matter, somebody dies, the police come along, they charge you, they take you into court. Now, if your defense was, oh, I'm very sorry, I was drunk at the time, therefore I'm pleading insanity, or I'm pleading I don't know any better.
What does that have to do with anything? I'm not sure how this is connected at all.
Because you don't just get into a car. You don't just...
Well, okay, but these people have been taught to call out. That is like saying, don't get into a car and drive backwards if that's all you've been taught. If all you've taught has been to drive backwards, then how do you know any better?
But Devi, you've just touched on what I'm angry about and what I want to talk about tonight. It's not the people. It's not the people that are calling out, although that does annoy me. It's the institutions behind them that are teaching them how to do it and training them how to do it.
Yes,
that's what I'm angry at tonight. So let's start at the top. Churches. The number of churches I have been to, especially in England and America, where all the mediums are calling out. Now, if it's a spiritualist church, I don't care what the background is. They've got a national organization behind them. They've got mediums behind them. And in this day and age on the internet, they know what calling out is and they know what going direct is. You've been with me in churches in America.
There is no national organization in the United States.
Yes, there is.
There is?
There is.
Oh, that's right. That's right. There is. National
you and I were in their bookshop in Lilydale.
Yes. I remember now. Yes.
So there is no excuse for a church not to know the difference between calling out and going direct. And there is absolutely, in my opinion, no excuse. And of course, I'm now being banned from a dozen churches in America that I'm going to be contacting later in the year, but there you go. Now, I'm going to take this to the extreme. I'm not going to mention him, but you know this story because I've told you this before. But I run a couple of Facebook groups, and I got a reverend from Canada who joined the group, and he posted, "I've got a spirit," and he gave a girl's name, called, "Could anybody please contact me because this spirit's got a message to give you." Now, come on. Everybody, the chances of the group's got about 2,000 members.
Right.
In that group knows somebody with that name. So you're guaranteed, if that's the only bit of evidence that he was giving, that somebody's going to come forward and say, "Yes, that spirit's for me," desperate to get the message. So I sent him a message, polite chat, don't do that. You shouldn't be doing that. Now, this is a man running a church, an online church, granted. And he's got a good reputation. A lot of mediums were, when I started getting annoyed at him, I got some feedback from other people who I respect, saying, "Oh yeah, he's a good guy. He runs a good church. He knows what he's doing." Yeah. So I kind of, my polite way, told him what he was doing wrong.
You're not polite, so polite way.
Yeah, my really direct way. And he basically said, "Well, how would you do it?" I said, "You go direct. And if you get a spirit and if you don't," he said, "you go to the person before you get the spirit. You don't get the spirit and then go to the person. That's the starting point. So you work direct, you go to the person, you then let the spirit come forward." Anyway, we're getting too detailed. And we had a conversation, and he didn't believe. I said, and of course he started challenging me. "Who are you to tell me this? I'm a church-trained medium. How many churches do you work in?" Now, this was COVID time, so I wasn't doing any. But up till COVID, I was doing about 2.5 churches a month. So I said, blah, 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 blah. "Okay, come to my church and show me what you're talking about." Right? Fine. So I can't remember how quickly, but we were talking about a week later, that kind of time scale. He basically got me on his church platform. And I've never been back to his church, and I had never been to his church before. So this is only based on impressions, but he had over 50 people in the congregation.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, and a lot of them were clearly mediums. From the chat, you get chat, you get people talking, you get people talking to you. There must have been at least 10 mediums there. So I gave a message to every single person. So we're talking, I don't know the exact number, but I'm saying 50. It could have been anything from 40 to 55.
A lot of messages, put it that way.
Yeah. And every single one of them got a message. And there was I think there was only one person, and he had learning difficulties, it wasn't that he couldn't take the message. It was that he couldn't understand. I was telling him to go into his garden, and there was a door at the back of his garden, and there was a noise, and he couldn't get sort of terms of reference to go and investigate this noise. So, and that just ended up with somebody sort of politely that said, "Look, I'll talk to you later, and I'll tell you what Mark was telling you to do." Right, fine. I got multiple feedback from people that got the messages, etc., etc., etc. I mean, you've seen me work, so you know. the reverend who ran the church put a big post up in the groups the day after, and he had to cover his rear end. Basically, there are many ways that people can work, and they're all perfectly valid. And I had gone in, and before I had started working, I hadn't criticized.
You of course told everybody how horrible the way they worked was, because he has no blocks at all. And
I didn't quite word it that way, but I was direct. Let's just say I was very direct. And trust me, people, when a Scotsman's being direct with you, you don't want to be hanging around quietly in the background. Mm-hmm. So that's my first gripe at churches that should know better. My second gripe is at the national organisation, which is the Spiritual National Union in England, which we do have churches in Scotland who teach calling out. They literally teach the mediums to call out. So that
I know in England they do too.
Yeah. So this is England I'm talking about. So that is that's the Scottish way versus the English way. Now they have changed. They have started teaching both methodologies, but they still endorse calling out, which there are churches which I have worked in. There's churches that I am a member of in Scotland that are members of this organization, and the polite way that they describe the rule book of this organization is we use it as toilet paper. Quote, and I'm quoting a church president. I won't tell you which church, and I won't tell you which church president, but that's what the church president actually told me when I said, do we really want to be members of this organization? She said, look, it doesn't really matter because we've got the rule book. They come and see us once a year. We just say hello, we give them a cup of tea, we show them the door, they give us the new rule book, and we put it in the toilet. Quote, unquote. Right. The next group that I am ballistic at are people, and this follows, this is the grey area between myself and Devi talking about poor defenseless idiots that don't know what they're doing. Okay, I'll accept that if somebody hasn't been trained properly and all the rest of it, that somebody like that should not be training other people, and they should not be calling themselves mediums.
Of course, but they don't know that.
Okay, well, here I am doing a stream broadcast telling everybody, if you're calling out, do not teach other people.
Please don't. Please
don't. This is a message from Marc Stuart Medium. This is a message from Spirit speaking through Marc Stuart Medium. This is a message from Scotland to America.
This is the message from Mark to everybody that annoys him. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. If you're calling out, you're annoying me.
Yeah.
Look, this isn't just a case of different techniques. This is a case of bad mediumship. Look at what Devi just said. Devi, you want to explain a wee bit more about how you thought every medium was a fraud?
Oh, yes. The only thing I'd ever seen was calling out, and on TV and in person. And I basically could raise my hand. Now, granted, I do have a lot of people on the other side, but I could basically raise my hand for every single person they called out. And I know those weren't for me. So I just didn't believe. I figured they were making it up because it just seemed that way. Or if they were connecting with spirit, they didn't know how to interpret it. Yeah. So I thought all mediums were frauds because I'd never seen anyone go direct until I met Mark.
Yeah. I mean, for example, I sometimes do advert. Well, as a business, we do adverts for our training on Facebook. Every time we do it, I guarantee I'm going to get maybe, like, when we run the advert, we'll get between about 3,000 and 5,000 people that see the advert because we spend a reasonable amount of money on it. Mm. And so that means that we get a lot of comments. We get a lot of just generic questions. I can't do this. Questions, etc. Mm-hmm. And then we get the attacks. Now, we get it all. We get the religious fanatics telling us we're going to hell.
Always.
And we always get people telling us we're frauds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know this is for real. Devi knows this is for real.
Yeah.
Anybody that's been to a real spiritualist service, that's had a real reading from a spiritualist medium, it's personal evidential evidence. My usual reply to "you're a fraud" is, okay, come and see a medium, come and see me, or come and see a medium that's good. I can give you a list of 10 mediums that I can recommend. Go see one of them, and then come back and tell me that you think they're fraudulent.
Right.
Now, if they then go to church and they see somebody calling out, like Devi just said, then they're perfectly, I was going to say they're perfectly justified in saying it's fraudulent. They're not, but you can't argue.
It feels like it, and it looks like it.
Yeah.
It looks fraudulent.
Which falls on to making it look bad for us. I mean, Devi and I have spent a lot of time practicing, learning, teaching others, and I went through a long learning process myself to get to where I am just now. And it's like somebody pulling the rug from under you by making themselves look like frauds, or real people that are trying to do this and con people. I mean, I am credible. I mean, I could do this. I could stand on a stage. I mean, let's say, God forbid, spirit abandons me. What am I going to do? I'll go and call out. I mean, don't worry, I'm not going to call out. The day I ever call out, the day I've gone insane. But what I'm saying is, if I could do, anybody that knows what they're doing, that has some training, some ability, some practice, and I don't mean ability to connect to spirit. I mean, they've sat in a circle and they've been taught how to word things, what to say, how to say it. They could, a combination of that and reading people's body language, you could pull it off without connecting to spirit.
Yeah, I guess you could, especially if you have a psychic connection.
Yeah, you could just do psychic connections to people. And let's not get into what's psychic versus spiritual.
No.
That's another thing to get angry about on another day.
No. Mark's getting angry again. Okay, breathe, Mark, breathe.
No, but seriously, getting back onto the core topic. If you go to a church and if the medium gets up and starts calling out, don't sit there and take it. Go up to the medium after the service and call them out. Just ask them a direct question. Why did you not go direct? Oh, you'll get, if you get an answer.
Okay, what does that mean? Yeah. More than likely.
If they say, what does that mean? Then slap them across the effing thing. I don't mean.
You cannot blame them if they've not been taught otherwise. Not everybody knows you exist.
I'm not the only medium that goes direct.
No, you are not. But most of the ones in the States do. Unfortunately, it's true.
Right. Well, if they say that to you, tell them to go back and learn how to be a medium. They'll stop.
No, you just say, don't be rude. There's no need to be rude. Just say, you need to learn how to go direct. Period.
Or alternatively, get the fist if you're a man and hit them in the face.
Well, why are you going to hit only men?
I wouldn't hit a woman.
Even if they can defend themselves?
Anybody. I'm being sarcastic. This is my sarcastic sense of humor, people. I'm not telling you to assault anybody, and I wouldn't assault people.
Yeah, right.
Okay, she was in America with me, and she saw me getting arrested for assaulting somebody, but
No, I've never seen him assault anyone. That's very true. Yell, yes. Get very angry, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so if you, I suppose, come back to very few people that are watching us will be going to spiritualist churches. If you're on Facebook and you go to a Facebook circle, if you go to a reader and they're not going direct, just log off. Leave a message. Sorry, you should be going direct. Have a conversation with them, call them out, but just walk away. Don't encourage them in any way whatsoever.
No.
Start a campaign. Yeah, I mean, literally, Go back, keep going back to the church and start speaking to the church officers and tell them, go, get mediums that'll go direct. There are mediums in America that go direct.
There are.
We've met them. There were, I worked with Devi and I. Well, I was in 2 churches. Devi was in 1 church with me. I was expecting them to be doing the usual, with their mediums calling out, but they weren't. They totally floored me. And they were going direct. So there are churches, there are mediums. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everybody in America. I don't accept. I'm sorry, Devi, but I don't accept the excuse that people don't know better.
Yeah, Mark, I didn't know better.
You weren't an active medium.
Well, no, I was not an active medium. However, all the mediums that I've seen, and I've been very interested because I've been speaking to spirit for so long.
Okay.
All the ones I've seen, all the ones on TV, all calling out.
Okay.
Except the mediums that were working with police departments to find people.
But that's different. That is
completely different. Yeah.
That's not a medium working on a stage or in a church.
No, absolutely not.
Or on Facebook. I mean, let's be clear. We're talking about stage or platform work, depending on the circumstances.
Or even circle work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When I say stage, I'm not just talking physical stage. I'm talking Facebook stage, StreamYard stage. And also, if you see a lot of mediums doing live broadcasts, streaming broadcasts, they should be doing, if they're calling out there, then again, just type in the messages. Why are you calling out? Just ask them to go direct. Now, how do you go direct? You just basically, people are asking for readings. They've got somebody's name, and a lot of mediums do that. They do one-on-one direct messages. So again, I don't give any credence to I didn't know any better.
Oh, fine. I mean, be that way.
Here's an example of what
I'm uncompassionate and
no, here's an example of what I'm talking about. I have an office. Yes, we have a bricks and mortar office, people, in Scotland, in the town of Pennycook, which is south of Edinburgh by about 10 minutes, and it's about 5 minutes south of Roslin Chapel, in case anybody's ever wondered what that is. Anyway, we're 5 minutes drive away from Roslin Chapel. So there was a medium that was coming to Pennycook, and I run a Facebook group in the town. I do readings. I've got a reading room, all the rest of it. So she sent me this message to say she's doing a national tour. She was appearing in a local miners club. Would I promote her? Would I encourage people to go and buy tickets? Okay. So I sent her a messaged her back. Straightforward question. Do you go direct or do you call out? Reply, it doesn't make any difference. Sent her a message back. Of course it does. Message back. And well, I used to go direct, but now I call out.
Why would you go backwards like that? That makes sense.
I'll come to that.
Okay.
Message back. Well, sorry, I'm not promoting you. Click. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Because a lot of mediums, Scotland is different, because in Scotland, in churches anyway, if you don't go direct, nobody's going to take you seriously, and the churches won't book you. You might be able to. There's a couple of mediums that call out, but they are very, very, very good. They might call out, but when they give somebody, I don't like. There's one woman in particular I really don't like, because she only gives 3 messages per service.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But those messages are like private readings. They run for
like full on messages. Yeah.
That you're talking like 3 15-minute messages, and there's so much information in those messages that that she may be calling out, but it's not random. She does make sure that that she's with the right person, and the evidence just comes out, and it just keeps going. And to be honest, you're like, she's very good. She's very funny. So she is very entertaining, which is how she's able to pull it off in Scotland. But she's probably about the only medium that I know that the churches actually let work on platform when she's calling out. Anyway,
really?
There's a lot of mediums in Scotland specifically lose it. Spirit just stops connecting with them. Why? Ego, age, a lot of different reasons. They try working psychically. The churches catch them out at that. So then they go and do stage work and they call out. And they're effectively doing psychic work when they're calling out. So basically that, me reading between the lines, it was, oh, I can do both. And I used to do calling out all the time. Now I just do I used to do direct all the time. Now I'm just doing calling out. So that's,
that
alarm bells going like that.
Anyway, we are at time.
Are we?
We are certainly at time.
Having such a good time, Devi.
We've been just babbling away.
Okay, so let's just wrap up. If you would like to register for a circle, you can go to that website. It's an AI system, so you'll have to speak to the AI, but it'll give you the link. If you want information about our streaming events, go to the website. There's the link. Register for the newsletter, and it comes out a couple of times a month. As we've already said, if you want to see the videos, yes, you'll see them short term on Facebook, but they're stored on YouTube at Scottish Medium.
Yeah, you already said that.
I already said that. If you want to come to a workshop with us, first one is free of charge. That's the link directly. calendly.com/Marc Stuart Medium /open-circle-workshop. So calendly.com, Marc Stuart Medium, open/circle-workshop. I'll keep that up. We will be back next week. We're having another screaming match.
Another discussion of why Mark has too many anger issues.
Devi's really my counselor, you know.
We're going to have an anger management thing going here.
Okay, it's been a pleasure.
Bye, everybody.
Enjoy. Bye-bye.
See you next